What happens when an actress best known for horror and comedy is suddenly thrown into a world of explosions, espionage, and danger? In 1994, Jamie Lee Curtis risked her body, her reputation, and even her career for a role that nearly broke her. This is the untold story of True Lies and the chaos behind it. Before we dive deeper into the story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because you won't want to miss the next twist in this ongoing celebrity drama. In the mid-1990s, no one expected Jamie Lee Curtis to step into the shoes of a spy's wife turned unlikely heroine. Known primarily for her Scream Queen legacy in Halloween and her comedic brilliance in Trading Places, Curtis was an unlikely pick for James Cameron's big-budget action spectacle. But what began as a gamble transformed into a defining career moment, filled with danger, improvisation, and shocking behind-the-scenes chaos. Cameron saw something others did not. He believed Curtis could bring humanity and humor to Helen Tasker, the seemingly ordinary housewife who discovers hidden strength in extraordinary circumstances. This was not meant to be just another supporting female role. Helen would evolve, surprise, and transform into a character with her own arc, not merely a background figure in Arnold Schwarzenegger's story. Curtis embraced the challenge, diving headfirst into a genre that demanded more than charm. It required physical bravery, comedic timing, and emotional depth. Her performance resonated because she wasn't playing a caricature. Instead of the flawless, untouchable spy archetype, Helen was awkward, scared, yet resilient. Curtis infused her with vulnerability and strength, showing a woman who rediscovers her own power while stumbling into danger. This authenticity struck a chord, making Helen Tasker relatable to audiences who had rarely seen such layered female characters in blockbuster action films. But the story of True Lies wasn't only about character development, it was about risk. Curtis's commitment pushed her into situations that could have easily gone very wrong, and some did. Have you ever wondered how far an actor will go when the line between performance and real danger begins to blur? One of the most talked about sequences in the film is the striptease scene. With dim lights and Brad Fiedel's haunting score, Helen awkwardly begins her transformation, unaware she's performing for her own husband. What most viewers never knew was how much of that dance came directly from Curtis's imagination. Cameron gave her freedom to improvise, and she delivered a performance that walked a tightrope between comedy and sensuality. Every hesitant step, every shift from clumsy to confident carried emotional weight. Then came the moment no one forgot. Curtis slipped and collapsed to the floor. Many assumed it was an accident, but in reality, Curtis had decided to fall deliberately. She only agreed to do it twice, fearing she might twist her ankle in heels. The genuine surprise on Schwarzenegger's face was real, and Cameron knew instantly it was gold. He left it untouched in the final cut, capturing a scene that felt raw, spontaneous, and unforgettable. It wasn't just Curtis improvising on set. Tom Arnold, cast as Albert Gibson, brought his own messy reality into the script. In one scene, Gibson vents about his ex-wife stripping his house bare, down to the ice cube trays. Audiences laughed, but few realized the line came directly from Arnold's bitter divorce from Roseanne Barr. What could have been a throwaway gag became one of the film's most memorable jokes, blurring the line between real heartbreak and cinematic comedy. This mix of authenticity, improvisation, and chaos defined True Lies. Yet behind the humor and spectacle, danger was constant. Do you think audiences would have reacted the same way if they knew how close some of these scenes came to catastrophe? James Cameron's quest for realism went beyond performances. He demanded actual military hardware, securing 3 Marine Harrier jets at staggering costs, over $2,400 per hour of flight time. To Cameron, no visual effect could replace the raw power of real machinery. That obsession gave audiences breathtaking aerial sequences, but it also raised the stakes for everyone involved. Jamie Lee Curtis herself took those stakes personally. Instead of relying on doubles for the film's most dangerous moments, she performed many of her own stunts. For the now legendary helicopter rescue sequence, Curtis trained rigorously, dangling high above city streets in conditions that could have gone horribly wrong. Her determination to prove herself added intensity and realism, but also placed her in terrifying situations. Crew members later admitted they admired her fearlessness, though some worried it was pushing too far. One wrong move could have been devastating. But Curtis wasn't the only one staring down danger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the indestructible action hero, nearly lost his life during filming. In one sequence, his character was supposed to hitch a ride on the side of a passenger jet. A miscommunication nearly turned it into a nightmare. The pilots, believing Schwarzenegger was already clear, powered the engines to full throttle while he still clung to the plane. For a split second, death was certain. By sheer instinct and strength, Schwarzenegger pulled away just in time, narrowly escaping disaster. What would have happened to the film and Hollywood itself if Schwarzenegger hadn't survived that moment? Another close call came during the horse chase. In a pivotal rooftop sequence, Schwarzenegger was thrown from his mount, nearly plunging into deadly danger. Only his reflexes and the quick actions of crew members prevented catastrophe. These weren't just movie stunts, they were life or death moments that revealed how perilous filmmaking at this scale could be. While audiences marveled at the spectacle, few realized the blood, sweat, and fear behind it. True Lies was also monumental for another reason: its budget. At $100 million, it became one of the most expensive films of its time. The gamble was enormous. Studios worried whether Cameron's vision could possibly recoup such an investment. Yet when the film hit theaters, those doubts vanished. Grossing over $378 million worldwide, it proved that audiences would flock to films that blended explosive action with humor and heart. But success came with scars. Can you imagine standing on a set where every take could mean injury, disaster, or worse, yet still pushing forward for the sake of art? For Jamie Lee Curtis, the risk was worth it. Her performance won her a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. It was a groundbreaking recognition, as few women in action-heavy films had been honored in this way. She didn't just play Helen Tasker, she embodied her, proving that women could dominate in genres long reserved for men. Her victory wasn't just personal, it changed perceptions of what female characters could be in blockbusters. Helen Tasker wasn't a helpless figure waiting to be saved. She was her own force of resilience, humor, and empowerment, and Curtis had poured every ounce of herself into making that vision a reality. The triumph of True Lies wasn't simply in its box office numbers or accolades. It was in the risks taken, the boundaries pushed, and the accidents turned into magic. Every slip, every improvised line, every near disaster became part of its DNA, etching the film into Hollywood history. So as the credits rolled in 1994, audiences left theaters laughing, gasping, and cheering. But behind that joy was a story of sacrifice, bravery, and chaos few would ever know. And it all rested on an actress who dared to risk everything. In the end, True Lies was more than just an action spectacle. It was a gamble that demanded everything from its cast and crew. Jamie Lee Curtis transformed from unexpected casting choice to award-winning icon, while Arnold Schwarzenegger and others risked their lives for authenticity. What emerged was a film filled with humor, danger, and unforgettable spectacle. Yet beneath the blockbuster thrills lay a story of courage, improvisation, and resilience. True Lies remains a reminder that true cinematic magic often comes from chaos, risk, and the willingness of performers to give more than anyone thought possible.